Folks, welcome back. Rudy, Alpha Investments. Around 5 years ago, we went through this era, and this was like a big meme and a big joke of everything. We went through this iconic Masters 25 era. And for those of you who weren't around 5 years ago, which is going to be most of you based on the YouTube data and Google algorithm and how long your channels and accounts have been, this was an era when we had Masters products that we never thought could go down in value. We original Modern Masters, Eternal Masters, Modern Masters 2015, and then we hit this iconic Masters, and then Masters 25 was the themed set we were waiting for. Quote unquote, smart people in the ivory tower. And the funny thing about it is years later, we went through the crash, it changed everyone's behavior, and nothing was ever the same after iconic Masters 25. And I think back about that. And everyone now is saying, Rudy, Commander Masters. It could be iconic Masters 2.0. Personally, I don't think it is. But at the same time, it's a little bit more complicated than what's going on. So in this video, we're going to discuss Commander Masters, why it's not iconic Masters 2.0, but what the real risk of is that's happening here. People are asking me, Rudy, can you talk about how Wizards, like the people who are still buying secret lairs, like they're selling people secret lairs, and then within months later, the secret lair window closes, and a lot of times people don't even receive their secret lair yet, and then they reprint the secret lair in the next Master set or Modern Horizon set or specialty set. And people are like, but that's, I'm not sure if Wizards of the Coast has all these departments that work on products and R&D, if it's a lack of communication of what the other one's doing, or it really is the simplest answer of all, which is they just don't give a flying shit. And I think that's a very difficult thing for us all to come to terms with. Magic continues to be very successful. Hasbro continues to be very successful. I think so. Their stock has been doing better, which that's loosely being said. But it's very difficult to put your finger on what's actually happening. And when we look at Commander Masters, it's not that the cards so far are all 25 cent, 69 cent hot garbage. It's a bigger issue. And of course, the age-old question always gets brought up. Rudy, how many times can they reprint all this stuff over and over before it's all printed to the oblivion? It's all driven it's all pushed into the dirt where every card has no value. And then if the cards don't hold secondary market value, Wizards is in big trouble. Because they can't sell $400 set boxes if the cards within the engineered product don't hold secondary market value. So no matter what anyone wants to tell you on the approved, the sponsored, all these entities around the ecosystem of Wizards of the Coast and Magic that, were for the community, for the people, all this stuff, everything needs to be cheap, every card's a game piece under, all of this narrative that's spun around. I've been on YouTube almost 8 years now. And you can buy into that, and they're very good at that public-facing PR image, and that is their job. They're supposed to be good at it. But at the end of the day, this is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that has people all over from Wall Street, financial analysts, people monitoring, calculating secondary market values, engineering products with not too much value, not value. They try to run this teeter-totter balancing system, and it all relies on the backbone of a secondary market having value. That is the simplest and most watered down answer, because we cannot have a Masters product come out and have all cards that are worth $1 or less. That would cause such an economic financial disaster in the distribution chain in the economy of Magic the Gathering. I can't even comprehend the long-term impact of that. Because you're essentially selling stores a $300 set box. Actually, I think it's $320. $320 set box. The stores have to sell for $400 to make 20 bucks. Okay? And if a customer buys a $400 set box and every card in the box is $1, well, the expected value of that set box is probably going to be around 50 bucks. Therefore, that box, cannot be worth less than 50. You have to have some sort of spread. So that box should be worth probably $100. The sealed box should be $100 if the singles inside are worth $50. You should have a nice spread where you can't just endlessly open and rinse and repeat. So the concept that game pieces and everything has to be kept cheap is one of the most beautifully designed public-facing concepts I've ever seen a company pull off. And the average person falls for it. And I almost think it's a beautiful thing. Because I almost think it's so well done. It's almost a fucking miracle. Or it's just like I don't know if many people realize the difficulty to pull off something like that. To make a company and make a product and make the most of the millions of people believe that they're for you, we're going to reprint it and make it available. But at the same time, they have like these dudes in the back room with strings and calculators and supercomputers and AIs and sex robots and dolls and blow up things, and all these things are happening and they're running these calculations. It's kind of a beautifully pulled off thing. It's impressive. So it brings back to the core component. What happens if the path is not modified? Or, as Blake at Wizards of the Coast says, and Mark Bottomwater when he sells bathwater, what these guys say, we have no intentions of slowing down or changing anything. No, not really. So what happens if they really do keep the pace of Secret Lairs reprints and volume? And if we go another 3 to 5 years and every single card's been reprinted so many times, everything becomes a Tarmogoyf situation where the $100 cards are down to 10, 20 bucks, and Wizards starts having problems justifying the higher price tag. They're either going to have to create brand new products and cards that can hold high prices, or B, generate other forms of value with the serialization of cards, redemption cards, artist-drawn sketch cards. They're going to have to go in different directions to make up for the decline in value of single cards. That is essentially probably some backup ammunition, some backup ideas or last resort things. Because we talked about on this channel, ladies and gentlemen, we were talking, God, I remember when I talked about core sets, and I warned you all, I think it was 2-3 years ago, about serialized cards coming. And everybody made fun of me and all this stuff, and serialized cards are now such a normal thing in Magic. Nobody even goes, oh, serialized card. But I remember when I was talking to you all about years ago saying, we are going to have serialized cards. It's coming. Not that I had any real information. I made it all up on the spot. And, that's where we are. So, let's look at Commander Masters. The issue with Commander Masters is actually not the cards being placed in the set. It's a big set. There's a lot of decent modern, reprinted, decent, good cards in it. The issue is a lot of modern cards are no longer $50 or $100. Okay, let me tell you this. How many modern cards are over $200? How many modern cards are over $150? How many modern era Magic cards are even worth $100? How many modern Magic cards are worth $80? $70? $60? How many are there? 5? 10? 20? 50 cards? Out of the thousands of modern era Magic cards, as of right now, the middle of summer of 2023, which is a lot better than the cruel summer of 2022, Baldur's Gate, good year so far. Stock market, economy, not amazing, but it's better than last year. I'll put it that way. I still don't think it's amazing, but it's better. How many cards? And see, that's the issue. So when you get all these wizards in tinfoil hats on their social media, Backpage, Silk Road, Discords, and the MySpace thing, and they're all running their numbers, and we got more jank, we got bulk, cards only worth $7. Oh, it's a mythic, it's $4. Wait, was that a typewriter? Sorry, no typewriter. Oh, that wasn't one. So the issue is, it's not that these cards are bad. The cards are getting so diluted, they are struggling to hold values above $10, $20, $30. And this is tilting into an issue that eventually Wizards will have to acknowledge and deal with. And when I say acknowledge, they're not going to acknowledge it to me and you. They're going to acknowledge it by taking different paths. We'll see increased other gimmicks. I mean like gimmicks or scams, or I don't like using those words. We'll see increased creative options with different types of serialized cards, hand signs. They're going to go in these other paths to compensate and supplement the weaker card prices. So as of right now, watching Commander Master spoilers, personally, I think the set looks fine. I don't think it's hot trash. I don't think it's going to zero. The issue is Wizards is putting a price tag of $400 for set boxes on the open market. Stores at $320. They push that bar so high, and they're trying to capture so much financial value because, back in the day, I'll be honest with you all, my cost for Iconic Masters and Masters 25, before they collapsed, normal price for store prices for master boxes was $140, $150. And I remember selling them for $199 or $209 or $199 or $219 or whatever it was before the crash. It wasn't a huge profit, but you can make $20, $30. But it wasn't like making, but at the same time, buying into overhead and having a store and buying a $150 box to sell it for $200 versus paying all this overhead and having a store and paying $320 and trying to get that same customer to spend $400 on a box. I mean, the scales have moved so much. And that's where things are getting very complicated. And my concern is not that Commander Masters is a bad product. As of right now, I saw a great henge and, smothering big old T's are in there. All the typical things, the soul rings and command towers and all that stuff. But I mean, looking at the mythics and rares, it's a ton of between $1 and $15 cards. And the thing is, a lot of those cards in the past would have probably been $20, $30, $40, $50. But the reprint machine is so devastatingly nasty in the world of Magic. Consumers and behavior is being shifted. People do not have the confidence. It's a consumer confidence crisis, or it's a consumer Wizards is rewiring the customer base to view the products and the cards differently. Okay, that's what I see going on. It's not that the card, hey, great henge being reprinted, let's pick on that, or an angel being reprinted, or some of. It's not that it's a bad thing. It's that the values of these cards, because they've been reprinted 2, 3, 4 times. Or hey, Rudy, they finally reprinted the old, medallions from your Sue Ellen friend. They reprinted the Tempest medallions. I mean, that's cool. But again, these are not moves that you can sell $400 set boxes. That's the problem. And if the rumors are correct that draft and set is going to have a higher print run, the market's going to be in big trouble because she's going to be so top heavy. She's not going to be able to support the $400 price tag. And that's the issue. Now, if Commander Masters was $150 and I could sell it to patrons for $189 and $199, we wouldn't even be having a conversation. Because there's so many good cards at that price point, we view it. Our perspective is different. But the problem is, Wizards is pushing the greed number so high, and now they're reprinting so fast, the cards are dissolving financially. And they're competing. People are buying Secret Lairs, and before they get them, they're reprinting the Secret Lair in the next reprint master set. It's kind of fucking funny, but it's that shows how bad the management is on calculations and how they're is anybody sitting in that boardroom saying, excuse me, yeah, hi, you in the back. Yeah, if I was a customer and I bought $1,000 worth of Secret Lairs, and before I got them, you reprinted it and crushed it anyway, I kind of feel like you just slapped me across the face with a giant hard rubber fish. Is anyone in the room or is this one of the companies where you speak up, they just kick you out? So that's my opinion right now. So that's where I stand. I think Commander Masters looks fine. I think it looks like a fun, good set, a lot of beautiful cards, a lot of good reprints and everything. But my concern, again, to re-emphasize before I end the video, as of right now, this is the first master set in the history of Magic the Gathering I did not order draft or set boxes. Of course, I ordered those epic Commander decks that are coming for Commander Master for the patrons, you all. And of course, the collector boxes. Because I feel those are the two SKUs, products or categories, that have a better chance of holding up and not collapsing in the face of it. I cannot justify buying 2,000 Commander Master set boxes for like $2/3 like $640,000. Like, no. To what? Try to sell it to the patrons for $700,000 so I can make like 5%? Like, the risk reward of that kind of data is scary. And I think that is, and the fact that I didn't order that, how many other people are going to reduce and be nervous? And if they printed more, see, that makes me really, really nervous. I don't have any concern on the collector boxes because those are always fun. They're simple. They hold up better on a percentage scale. But, when I see in the Commander deck sets look great. But I mean, it'll be interesting as we approach release to see how these things hold up. But, again, to end the video, the set looks fine, but the draft and set prices make me nervous. And everybody is getting rewired by Wizards to, faster pace, lower prices, and yet Wizards wants to demand a higher asking price for cards that have a lower asking price. It's a problem. Have a beautiful day, everybody, and that's all I got.